my uncle was letting me go to Twice as Nice about 14, 15, you know.
Stop it.
Just hiding me in the VIP, but just kind of letting me watch what's going on, and then eventually being introduced to Soul Solid crew at that age.
KILLA podcast. KILLAofficial.com.
I tell a murderer.
THTC, the UK's leading ethical streetwear label. Organically grown and ethically built garments from hemp, organic cotton and other sustainable materials. 2019 is their 20th anniversary year. Join me with THTC as a KELA podcast sponsor celebrating music, social activism, hemp and street culture. THTC, eco-fashion redefined since 1999. 101.4 FM, 24 hours a day, all genres.
nextfm.co.uk.
Beatbox created.
KILLA.
And we're here to talk about world music and street culture.
KILLA podcast.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is the KELA podcast, live and direct, central London, or central as you need to be. Big shout out to Graffiti Kings inside and everybody else supporting us. Well, I've had many a guest pass through, but none of them have come more than once and as punctual. That's this man,
I'm
right?
on point, man. I'm on point, bro.
Big shout out to the man like DJ Ironik inside the place.
Yes.
How are you?
Yeah, man, we're here, man. I'm here. I'm good. Just staying creative, staying safe, and just making sure I guess my mental state is on point during these times, man. So yeah, I'm all good though. To be fair, if I'm being honest, I feel kind of like refreshed and like rejuvenated a bit during this time.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just thinking about it. I guess I've been in and out of the clubs for the last 10 years, every weekend in the clubs, DJing or performing. Just to have a few, I guess, months now off. It's been good, man. It's been nice, bro. Just to be able to do other things and kick back. It's been nice, man. How about you, bro? How you doing?
Bro, I'm kind of the same. You know,
Yeah.
On one hand, I've got used to operating within studio environments, whether it's the podcast studio setup or the music studio setup. So I'm a bit like you in that you've always worked from home and you've always done what you do creatively from your hub. But there's something to be said of, when artists, they have to stop doing a gig or have to stop doing a circuit, it's normally because of like one of a handful of things, mostly about their well-being, and they just have to stop.
Being ill or
Yeah. They don't want to stop, but they feel like they're obligated to. But when this, like you say, I mean, we don't want to kind of overemphasize the we're all right, Jack kind of thing. But
yeah, exactly, yeah.
You know what I mean? We haven't got to worry about this
we're
now.
Lucky,
we're in the motions, you know?
Yeah. Obviously, it's a crazy time right now. There's a lot more going on around the world. You know what I mean? People are passing away and stuff. So it's a sad time at the moment. And I think the first week of the whole lockdown thing, when they were announcing it, that was a time where I was worried, if I'm going to be honest. And I was thinking, like, what's next?
I think that's where I'm at, bro. I feel like the initial panic of like, what are we going to do? Oh my God, we're all going to God. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that first week and second week, that's what it was. Every time I coughed, I thought, what's wrong with me? Like, just panic everywhere. But like you said, we got used to it now. And I think I'm even more used to just being indoors now. And, so it's crazy, bro. It's a crazy time.
Kind of goes to show, innit, like that if you do as you're told, quote unquote, and you just thug out that first initial month. I mean, I got ill. I got the COVID for.
Did you?
14 days. Yeah, man, I got it. So I wasn't exempt from being hit by it, but it wasn't in any way,
What was it like for you then? Because I don't think I've met anyone that's had it before or spoke to anyone about it. What was it like?
It was kind of like. It was like a heavy flu, achy pain. Like anything, if you've ever had an injury, like playing football or cycling or anything like that.
Yeah.
Maybe even 8 years ago, all of a sudden it's suddenly reoccurring. And you're like, what the fuck? And it's not. It's just the virus attacking your weakest areas. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah. Do you know what's crazy? Like I said this to my missus the other day. Like I got ill similar to that in January, I think. second week of January. I was coming back from Amsterdam, and I felt exactly like that, bro. And bearing in mind that this is winter time, when I got home, I was sweating. And I couldn't. I was just, yeah, I might have had it early. I don't know, but
you might have had it, bro.
It sounds like it. So yeah. But yeah, no, luckily you're good, bro. You're all well and that, and you recovered, bro.
Yeah, man, we all good, man. We're all good out here. And you know what, as well, it's like with the whole podcast thing and chatting to people.
Yeah.
Yo, it's like all of a sudden we don't need to be spending £5 coffees to go in a meeting. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, I think everyone's realizing that now. We're spending so much money on these office spaces. And we could just do meetings from home on Zoom now.
yeah. I mean, listen, again, the glass is half full for characters like you and me, because you've been studio, you've in that studio headspace for a while. Plus, you DJ more than you perform, so you're in that world where you're a recording artist. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're like in that world, and I'm in this world. You know.
Yes, yeah, man. Even the other day, I done a studio session on Zoom. It was crazy. Like the other rapper that I was working with, he had his setup at home. He had his mic set up, and then we just done the Zoom and kind of talked. We done like a virtual studio session. It was weird, but I guess it's just about getting used to the way things are heading and where we're at now. So it was all good. It works, innit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I guess we was in that time anyway, because people don't really record in studio sessions together anymore anyway. People are just sending emails back and forth. So,
bro, it's the way. It's a luxury if you can get people out the door, and it will become more like this, you know.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, the man Ironik. Well, I mean, where to begin? I remember. I mean, first and foremost, producer, DJ, and vocalist, lyricist, and collaborator across genres. And this is something that people don't seem to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for real. A lot of my collaborations have been very like all over the place, but I love that. And even my music, like a lot of people find it hard to put me in one genre. Because even me, I don't know what I would call the genre. Like obviously I MC, I guess, rap, but you know, I can MC on like a rock record or whatever, you know what I mean? And we like you said, we work with Elton John to Snoop Dogg to, you know, all different kind of artists, man. And that's one thing I appreciate with what I do, you know, not just staying in one lane, just kind of being all over the place. I love that.
Yeah, 100%. There was a few tunes that really rocked the foundations and really brought things to a forefront, and we'll get into them in a bit. But we spoke maybe about pushing on about.
Was it December or before?
Yeah,
it was like around
Christmas time, right?
Yeah.
And we kind of pulled together a synopsis in a real pretty short time. I don't know. Maybe I had one too many sherbets, but I was totally like, oh my God, I've had an epiphany. Like you're at the time when you were coming up through Channel U and all those other outlets, your style, I felt, was so much more based on emotion, like not anger. It wasn't anger. It was it was music to love with. You know what I mean?
To love, to express yourself. And just let your emotions out. Before me, like you said, a lot of the MCs that came out, you know, there was a lot of anger you could hear. They never really touched on the, you know, emotional side, even though anger's an emotion as well. But they wouldn't really kind of let out there. You know, I guess like, you know, when I came out, I was doing records for the girls a lot. But not just that, just talking about my life and just things I've gone through. You know what I mean? I guess the only other artist around that time that I can remember that kind of done that was like Kano. Kano was kind of that kind of rapper, I guess. But yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I'll go with that too.
Yeah.
He had that vibe, didn't he?
Yeah, but before that, it was just, you know, especially in the grime scene, a lot of it was just, you know, spitting bars, just angry grime lyrics and just, you know what I mean? Like, I'm coming to tear off your head kind of lyrics. But, you know, I wasn't brought up like that. So when I first started writing my lyrics, I just wanted to, one, sound different to everyone else, and two, kind of just, I don't know, just write how I felt, you know what I mean? And not be afraid of what anyone else thought of it. And I think I've been like that throughout my whole life. During school, you know, I just wore my heart on my sleeve. So I kind of just carried that in the music. I wonder if that was like in America. They've always had that side, I guess, right?
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
You know what? I think what drives a lot of American stuff is funk.
Right. Yeah.
But with grime music and that time with Channel U, people, and I think you'll appreciate this as a producer as well. They always gravitate to the low notes. It's actually really hard to get into the happy notes.
Yeah, yeah.
To make music with happy keys, that's really hard for people sometimes because you just want to get aggressive or low.
Especially with grime, like you said, yeah. Yeah, it's true. So maybe that's why a lot of the MCs kind of found it hard to find that side of them. You know, with a lot of the instrumentals with dark and grimy, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's a tack to it. They wanted to. There was a statement to be made, and it had to be one of aggression, or else it would fail the mission brief. You know, to get the fuck out and make noise. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And then I guess when I came out, a few of the producers that I was working with, one I'll give a shout out to Flukes from Crazy Cousins. He made an instrumental called Wifey. You know, and that was the first time I heard an instrumental like that. And I guess like you said, that had like happy-ish kind of sounds, but like it was touching in emotions, you know, in a way, which we'd never heard before. You know, the high-pitched sample in the background and things like that. So I think that was kind of the start of my journey in kind of touching on my emotions and recording and putting it down.
That shit is not. Listen, it's underplayed because it doesn't sound easy, hard to do. But that shit isn't easy to do. No, it's not easy to do.
Especially like, you know, like even now, like I have to be going through something to write about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so a lot of the time, even, you know, when I was writing my first album, I would ask my friends situations about what they've gone through, or, you know, my parents, and then just write about that, because I personally have to be going through it to write about it as well. So yeah, man.
Really? So no. I know this. I know the sort of characters. Has that always been the case? You've always kind of held your lyrics on your sleeve, sort of thing.
Yeah, I have to, bro. Like I have to, man. Like everything I write has to be real, or has to have come from somewhere. I can't just make it up, if I'm being honest. That's why sometimes I'll go in the studio and I'll just struggle to write because I won't have any inspiration from anywhere. Even like now, during this time, if I'm being honest, I haven't recorded one song, I don't think. Because even though we got such a tragic thing happening, it's not much going on for me to actually, you know, write about.
I feel that. I must admit, I've opened up a few projects that I haven't opened for a while, and I'm kind of looking at them with a different perspective. I'm more you know, you've removed yourself from the theater of doing it, and you're like, oh, actually, I know what I was trying to do there, but to try and figure out like something fresh off the.
It's hard right now. It's hard. Yeah, and yes, especially right now, man. I mean, I think I wrote one record, and that we actually released that. It was like a charity single for the NHS. It's called "Letter to the World," but that was the only time that I felt any sort of like inspiration to write something recently. So, yeah.
Well, that's super sick that you got the inspiration for that. That's fire.
Yeah, no, definitely, bro.
Where did you grow up? Where was your home?
I'm North London, man. So I grew up in Highgate, or Muswell Hill area. You know, my mum born and raised me there, and yeah, that's it. I was just a North London kid, though, man. Everything like what's starting out, all my like stepdad's friends were all around North London, and then my uncle was a club promoter for a garage night called Twice as Nice.
Oh, fuck
back
yeah!
in the
Come
day.
on, yeah, dude.
So the heritage was there, you know what I mean? The background of music was there. I remember, you know, early memories of going to my dad's friends' houses, and they were just, you know, had the decks out, and they were just playing the garage music there. That's what I first remember, and then wanting to get into DJing from there, man.
Dude, that is mental. That like, I love stories like that as well, because you know, right? It's like an access pass to something that you had no idea was any different to the, you know what I mean? It's like, literally, that's crazy. Yeah, that's just part of your DNA.
It's part of me, yeah. And like you said, like, I guess before I was 13, I never had a clue that was something I wanted to pursue up until now. Like I wanted to do for the rest of my life. But now looking back, like, I remember just my mum blaring music every day, blaring garage music or the Twice as Nice compilation CDs. And it was just, they was just embedded it in my head from early.
Mandatory compilations of those massive club nights, man. Like,
yeah,
I used to have loads of them. Like, dude, that's awesome. So your family, generally were called ravers. Would you call them ravers?
Yeah. My mum's still a raver. She still thinks she can go out and rave now. But yeah, they loved it, man. They proper like were ravers. My mum grew up on like the acid era, and then like I said, the garage and drum and bass and jungle. You know what I mean? The skibbity, the brocky, like all of them raves she was going to from early, man. And then eventually it kind of went on to me, like from a young age being in them raves. My uncle was letting me go to Twice as Nice about 14, 15,
Stop it.
Just hiding me in the VIP, but just kind of letting me watch what's going on, and then eventually being introduced to Soul Solid crew at that age, and actually going on tour with them when they were touring 21 Seconds. So yeah.
Jeez, hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on, cowboy. This is my first rodeo here.
That's where it starts, bro. Trust me.
Dude, so hold on. So you were at Twice as Nice, and then through your creative music and doing stuff and this platform being here, So Solid came into play, and this was like a burgeoning like scene, and you were just like creating at the same pace at the same time,
yeah,
but at a younger age, and they took you on.
Literally, yeah. So, well, I wasn't producing yet, and I wasn't an artist yet, so I was just a DJ at that point. But that was what I loved to do. So I was watching all the, the DJ EZ around that time, the Heartless crew, and then, like I said, then meeting Soul Solid crew. And there was another DJ called Little Charlie. He was like another young protege DJ. Like it was me or him. We were like the two young DJs coming up around the garage scene.
Right.
But then Soul Solid crew decided to take me on tour on to promote their 21 Seconds tour. But it was just under 18s gigs they were letting me do. So we would do all the under 18s around the UK. And that was my early memories of, DJing in the first clubs, man.
It was amazing. How what do you remember? Is it all a little bit kind of grainy and?
Not really, because I have a lot of pictures. My mum took a lot of pictures, so I've got a lot of that. But I remember just having to stand on boxes in the DJ box because I was too short. So
I still do that now, bro.
Yeah, trust me. Yeah. So I remember that, and I had dreadlocks then, so I had like little dreads.
For real?
And I just remember all the girls, like all the women that used to feel, he's so cute behind the decks.
Listen, one can only imagine, my friend. One can only imagine.
That was just the start, man. But yeah, and then obviously just seeing Soul Solid crew, they rolled in such a big team and entourage. Like from there, I was like, wow. And I think that was the early start of me seeing, what it takes to be a superstar in the UK, because I just knew how to be a DJ at that point at 13, 14. But actually see these guys are superstars. When they step in the club, they are screaming for them. And that was the first time I seen that in the UK. Because obviously I heard of it in America, like they've got superstars over there, but we never really had that here until I saw that. So
there was something really powerful about, I guess like garage music was the last genre to experience that Top of the Pops, SMTV Live era of being high profile because of people's coming together on watching a show like those.
Literally, I never got to experience the Top of the Pops world, man. But
I'd love to. Jesus, can you imagine?
But even just seeing that on TV, like all of that was just all that, watching the Mobo Awards, watching Soul Solid crew win, all of that was kind of gearing me up to what I wanted to, how far I wanted to take it, I guess.
What was your what were your disciplines? What were the things that you at that age were you installing in yourself? What was it just graft? Was it right place, right time? Was it the music? What was it that was spearing you on?
A lot of it was just, like you said, the graft, so putting in work. My uncle, even though he had such a big platform, he never would put me straight at the front or try and, give me any handouts. So they were always teaching me. I still have to put in work for my own brand and my own name. You know, DJ Ironik from early. And my mum's, she was the same. She managed me from that point. She started managing me, and my stepdad, started tour managing me. So they were teaching me as we go along, just to have a good team around me, and make sure you work hard and keep the team strong, I guess. So yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
like, I genuinely admire situations like that where I don't know, when it's such a close family unit that are working together. It really is a all or nothing thing.
Yeah.
It's like literally, like, not that I have any, experience in it, but I would imagine the shortcomings of like something not going right or something not being achieved. Yeah. I'm sure it's a lot more personable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, when the whole family's involved. That's why probably a lot of artists find that their parents aren't really supportive with it, because they probably want you to be doing something that's a bit more secure. Yeah. They have to really believe in your dream and where you're trying to take this. And I can't lie, my mum's believed in that from the day I said I wanted to do music. So yeah, man.
Wow. I mean, I gotta hand it to your parents, man. So like you at this place where Channel U just like started popping off.
Yeah.
How many tunes did you have kind of milling around? Because I mean, it feels so organic now. There was hardly any kind of, for all of the the characters that were of that of that channel at that time. It just felt like one massive organism that was coming out to eat.
Yeah, it did. It looked like it was like orchestrated in a way, but all of it was just, even myself, like finding out how I have to submit my songs to Channel U and stuff like that. I remember just going online and this is the start of the social media era. So just Googling, how do I get my songs on Channel U and things like that. But yeah, man, that was a great time. There's so much talent that came out from that platform. For some people that don't know, that's Channel AKA now, by the way. So.
Is it Channel AKA?
Yeah, that's what it's called now, yeah.
Do you remember, and this is only a personal question to be fair.
Yeah.
Who was the girl that was always on Channel U? And I think she was a singer / rapper kind of thing. Yeah. And she had this slow down song and speed up song.
Ooh,
and she'd start singing and rapping like really, really fast.
Yeah,
and then
what was her name though?
Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think I remember you was talking about actually. Was that
blonde hair girl?
Yeah,
not blonde hair. I think dyed, kind of like extensions kind of thing going on. She was a dancer as well. She kind of did the whole thing.
Was that the only song she had on there?
Yeah.
It's called I remember seeing it. I remember seeing it. Yeah, that was another good era. So like I said, so it went from the garage kind of start for me around the Soul Solid crew. And then like I said, I went on to producing at about 15, 16. And then was producing for the likes of, Chipmunk when he was so young, like Wiley around that time, Tiny Temper, just some of the people that we seen to go on to do amazing things. We were all young at that point.
Man,
yeah, and we were all just young, just having fun, recording in my home studio like now, and just starting it off, and then eventually I just kind of thought, you know what, I want to start writing myself, and then around like you said, watching Channel U and stuff, I was like, yeah, I think I can do this.
That's just crazy. Yeah, I mean, all these characters, they were, I guess all of us, like Wiley, I think is slightly older than me. I think I'll have to check, but we was all so young. Do you know?
Yeah.
Like thirsty. I'm thirsty. Yeah. I never just really ventured into the Channel U.
Enjoying it. We were all just enjoying it, right? So.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I never really ventured into the Channel U world. I was slightly more on the athletic side of street culture. Like I was into, I was more about the graph and the UK hip hop. I liked the drum and bass and the merging of all different genres. But it was different when you're coming into a scene and Channel U is already fixed as a portal.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's already, I know what you mean.
It's there for the upcomers, you know, it's there for the new young guns. And I remember going and watching it and just be like, damn, this is fucking sick. And then Boy in the Corner came out, and then Wiley's stuff came out, and then your stuff.
And then it was like out of nowhere, there was loads. But but there was still the odd kind of UK hip hop, underground hip hop artists that were having their videos on Channel U. I think I remember some like Skinny Man, a couple of Skinny Man tracks.
That's right, Kalashnikov too.
Kalashnikov was on there quite heavy. So there was a few.
Mm.
But you're right. Yeah, man.
It was a bit of a melting pot, wasn't it? It was a melting pot for vibes and just. I used to watch it with bated breath, man. I remember when Pow came out, and I was just like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, the video was mad as well.
Crazy.
Yeah, no, it was they had their good stuff and then moments like you said, but they also had their side of stuff where you could be like, I'm gonna flip over to the next channel now. But
yeah. There was some listen. There was also some questionable pieces. I'm not gonna lie, you know.
But that's the same with everything, isn't it? You gotta yin and yang it. So,
bro, I'd love to watch it back. You know, like just to see. Because obviously that, you know, when you put stuff out and you mix it for TV, it's a hell of a lot different to what you expect it to sound like once it goes out, right?
100%, yeah.
But I'd be really keen to like check out, because in retrospect, you can go back and listen to the ideas that they had, and you're just like, wow, that kind of created this for that to happen and shit like that.
Literally, yeah. I mean, like every moment I would say in the UK so far from what we've seen, I think has opened the doors for the next, you know, generation or the next step. You know, if it wasn't for, like I said, the Soul Solid crew, me seeing them, then I might not have even kind of had my moment and then opened the door for the next artist. And then up until now where we've got the Stormzy's and, you know what I mean? So
yeah. Oh, bro. Yeah. Let's get into that for a second, because you were and still are, in my mind, I think it's your character.
Yeah,
you in the short time I've known you, you can tell when someone's well driven. You can tell when someone's serious. You can tell when someone has a good heart, one of the real ones, wants to get involved and just make shit right the way it should be.
I appreciate that, bro. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it didn't used to be like that for me. It took a lot of learning, you know what I mean? And like you said, like being in the game for so long to kind of learn that that's the way to be. But
yeah, I think that reflects though, like the Chipmunks and the N-Dubs and this pool of artistry.
Yeah,
you guys all stuck around. You know, there was some identifiable characteristics and work ethic.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like Phaser, big shout out Phaser as well. You know,
yeah, big up Phaser, man.
Yeah, well, he's bad boy producer again, and like yourself, a multitasker. He's punctual. He gets down into the dirt. He gets his hands messy. You know what I mean?
He's willing to go for it. You can always tell when them artists are just willing, like they live for this. You know what I mean? Like you said.
Yeah. And you've made a lane. Like, at what point did you say to yourself, right, I'm gonna spearhead myself as the fronting of an album or of a single? When did that happen?
Okay, so up until like all these points I've said, it was all natural. Everything has been natural, the natural progression or the natural step to take next. And then I was putting out all these records. I was putting out records on MySpace, and you know they were going mad online on MySpace and stuff. And then I sent my first video to Channel U, and then that went to #1 on Channel U for about 18 weeks. And then from there, me and my mum kind of looked at each other and was like, we might have something here, because you know we never seen it get this big yet. This is probably the biggest moment I ever had. So we was like, this is cool. Let's keep this going. And then I just kept on recording. Then I made another record called Stay With Me. And we called up some guys, some college guys. They filmed the video for us for like £100. And then we put that on Channel U. And then, you know, that, I think from that moment, it kind of changed my life. And then I knew this is something I have to start taking serious, and this is going to be a career. So it went on Channel U. And I think it was about 3-4 weeks into it being on Channel U on rotation every week, every day. And then my mum's house phone rang, and it was someone from Atlantic Warner Records, and they said they want to have a meeting with us immediately in the next week or two. And then from there, I was like, this was crazy to me because I only knew Atlantic Records from America. I only knew who, P. Diddy and T.I. and all those guys assigned to Atlantic. So I was just like, this is crazy. I didn't actually believe it, if I'm being honest, until we actually went to the offices.
It's one of those things, isn't it? You don't expect them to call. Yeah.
No, and I guess like nowadays, it's not that crazy to be signed to a major record label in the UK. But like I said, for me at that time, I hadn't seen it much. So, but from there, and obviously the record doing amazing. From there, we got signed. They signed the album deal. And then I started taking it serious to be an artist. Every little thing, every little detail I had to think about, how I'm presented, how I'm dressed on videos. And, everything I started, thinking about, whereas I hadn't before that. So,
how old were you at that time?
So I was 2007. I was about 19, I think.
Was it as articulated as you remember? What, I wanted to look like. I remember seeing you in quite dapper gear. You were... Yeah, I mean, like straight out Twice as Nice or something.
Yeah, it was quite that flashy kind of, out there vibes. Yeah,
don't tread on my shoes, sort of thing.
Yeah, the Machino shirts. Yeah, no, they the label said to me, like the look that I have, because I had quite a big ladies following, I guess, from the Channel U thing.
Yeah,
and like you said, the music I was putting out, so they were like, we really want you to always look sharp and look out there. You need to look like, they told me you are going to be the UK superstar rapper that we haven't ever had, So they said everything you do needs to be bright, that's why in my first major video, the first thing you see of me, I'm in a bright red jacket, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, they said that we're going to make you into a superstar. And then from that day, they said that my life changed, man.
Yeah. You was like Mace.
Yeah, it was that vibe. Yeah,
that's the way I remember it. It was like you were like a Mace kind of character.
UK, yeah.
And for anybody that's out of town and has never checked out Ironik, definitely go on YouTube and check out some of the back catalogue and the legacy to date, because trailblazed that genre. It was almost like another. If Wiley and Dizzy had one organ, you had the other organ. You know what I mean?
That's funny because Wiley actually contacted me this week and he says something like that, actually similar to that.
So sick. It was just true because, like, you on one hand you had N-Dubs, you had Chipmunk, you had you, and then on the flip
Tinchy
side,
Strider as well. I got a big up Tinchy Strider.
Oh yeah, hold tight. Yeah. Gee, you forgot my guy. That Tinchy's a bad man. Big up Tinchy. Yeah, wicked. Dude, like so many names.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So many different characters. Nowadays it's kind of hard to pinpoint each artist in the UK because there's so many, which is a good thing. There's much more opportunities. But back then you had the individual characters and everyone sounded different, and that's what I loved about them, man.
Yeah. 1000%. Like identifiable characters. Yeah. But maybe that's rose tinted. Perhaps all genres start out that way, and if you're young and impressionable enough, do you know what I mean?
Early hip hop was probably exactly the same, you know what I mean?
And I can't stand them people that always complain about golden era hip hop. It's like, no, man, come on. I mean, I love it too, but come on, like there were so many characters in early Channel U era grime and garage. I love the merging of it too, like which is where we come to like these key like anchor moments of like you and Chip doing the tune with Elton for starters, like mad.
Yeah, no, that was a moment. That was a moment, man. So that was the back of Stay With Me. We just done really well with that record. It went top 10, top 5 record. Yeah. And then my A&R at the time, he said, we really need another massive record. I've got an idea. He called me at like 2 a.m. He was one of them crazy A&Rs, but I love him. He called me at like 2 a.m. He said, I got an idea. He sent me the original Elton John record, the Tiny Dancer one. He told me a bit about it and how Elton John wrote it and stuff like that. And then he said, I think we should sample this and make it your next single. So I didn't really know the vision that he was going for at the time, because remember, I'm a grime kid. I'm coming from garage music. I love Elton John, Sir Elton John, but I didn't know his music like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Of course I knew who he was, but it's not my generation. So anyway, we went to the studio and we started producing the record, and then I laid my vocals. And then after that, I was like, you know who we need on this? We need, just to add that cool factor, I need someone who's a young MC coming from the streets early on, who's fresh and he can spit. And my A&R at the time said, yeah, anyone you can think of, let me know. So I went home, and I had been working with Chipmunk for the last couple of years since that. So
yeah, that's right.
So I hit him up. I was like, bro, what do you think about jumping on this? He said, yeah, let's do it. He came to the studio the next day. And then that was his first, I think that was Chipmunk's first top 5 record as well. And the rest was history, man.
Mad. Yeah, and he went on to do like, what was that Diamond Rings song?
Diamond Rings, which was straight after, and that was massive for him. I think that was a top 10.
Yeah,
and like another thing, like I always remember from that time, when we done the Tiny Dancer video, Chipmunk, we were wearing suits in the video. I told him, bro, we got to wear a suit. We have to look dapper in this video. He was like, we're coming straight from the streets. He was like, I don't know about the suit thing, Ironic, man. Like, I'm young, like I want to be wearing the tracksuit.
Yeah.
But he wore it, and the next video, Diamond Rings, he was in a straight full-on suit and everything. So just to see that growth it's been mad, man. It's been sick, man.
I love that. Trend setting, man. Trend setting. And then came like number 1 with Tinchy and Dobbs, right?
Yeah. And then that changed as well. That changed a lot, because now that's a number 1 record. I had top 5s, but I'd never seen anyone then have a number 1 in front of me, and I knew Tinchy as well. So I was like, this is crazy. Now that was even more kind of inspiration for me to go even harder now.
Yeah. So what came after that? What happened directly after that for you? Like, where was your life at that point?
So that was around probably, I would say 2008, 2009. And then I put out another record called Falling. I put out a few records, and then we put out the album, which done really well, went silver.
Brilliant.
No Point in Wasting Tears. And then the label kind of said, we want to do a second album. Let's work it out. But they kind of, Tiny Temper started releasing music, and he was doing more of the dance kind of stuff, the Calvin Harris and Tiny Temper vibe. And the label, you know how labels are, they said, we want you to go this direction. We think that you should be making a bit more dancey records. And I said to them, now looking back, I was probably a bit more ignorant then. I just said that that's not really my style of music that I like to make, and I couldn't see myself on it. So we kind of butted heads a bit at that time, if I'm being honest.
Right.
Which kind of like, it's not my music. It's not the music I sit and listen to all the time. So, that was just my mind frame at that time. Although I would try out more things now I've got older. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Hindsight's 2020 though.
It is, bro. So, yeah. And then, we kind of parted ways, but not in a bad way. We just kind of had disagreements. So, and then I went on to being independent. So I started releasing records independently. We put out a record called Falling in Love. And things were still massive, at this time. I was still doing shows all around the UK. I was still touring. It was still massive.
Yeah. Well, you were part of the you were part of the wheel of the wagon when it comes to like getting on a bus and touring.
Literally,
you've done that with So Solid from the jump, and that thing just it must have. I mean, look, parting ways, butting heads with labels, that comes with the territory. And 9 times out of 10, you can always tell the integrity of a good artist by how long they stay in the game afterwards.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's like a soldier complaining he's getting shot at. Do you know? And like, if it came down to the crunch, that what had happened there with a label actually served you right, because as long as you've recouped, as long as you've done what they told you to do, you've got now a whole new platform, which is essentially like major credibility, but you can go and do your own thing.
Literally, yeah. So we built to that stage, yeah.
You built it.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, so it wasn't the end of the world for me, but just it was a shame because that was obviously like my first record deal, and I was an excited kid. You know what I mean? I was like, this is amazing. Like I've got a team here, and then for them to kind of when I wasn't really happy with the way they wanted it to go, they kind of was like, all right, let's leave it. That kind of made me lose a bit of confidence, but then we just had to build again from there. And I would say that was probably around 2010, and then I had a bit of an incident after that, which was in the newspapers, and there was a robbery outside my house.
Oh yeah,
it was quite a big thing in the press and stuff, basically like, there was people waiting for me outside my house, and then I got stabbed, and it was a crazy night.
Hell, why don't I remember that?
Yeah, it was mad, and that kind of gave me a chance to just sit back for about a year and a half, 2 years, because I needed to just reflect on life.
Actually, that does ring bells. That does ring bells now. You think of it. Like, did you have any clue they were, or for what reason?
Well, it was set up. I think it was set up. Yeah, now looking back, it was set up by people that I knew or I had around me at that time. So,
right.
Yeah,
they must have got the wrong end of the stick.
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, like from what I've told you from the start, I've always just been a music man. You know what I mean? I've never been involved in any kind of violence. I'm a lover, not a fighter. So for me, it came as such a big shock. You know, that isn't why I got into music, to have things taken away from me. So I had to sit back at that point and just think, is this even what I want to do anymore? You know what I mean?
I don't fucking blame you, man. I mean, if it's any consolation, I also got like mugged at knife point. I obviously didn't get stabbed or nothing, but like that thing in itself makes you reevaluate how you operate.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So I feel your pain there.
So that was like
physical.
I'm all good now, man. But yeah, no. So I had to take a year and a half or 2 years break then, and a lot of people, you know, kind of say like, "What happened to you there, man?" What, you know, because this is at the peak, like I said, the peak of my career. To take a 2-year gap, especially at that time when people are putting out music so often, it's like, where have you gone? So, but I needed that for my own sake, for my life, and just you know, just to mentally get back to where I needed to get to. I needed that.
Yeah, I feel that. And you know what, brother, as well, time flies. Like you don't when people say, "Oh, you've been away for ages," in your head, it's like, "Well, yeah, I took a space."
Yeah.
But before you know it, what's crazy is like 3 years, 5 years. That shit flies.
That goes quick. Yeah, it goes so quick.
It's crazy. I mean, like I took some hiatus out, and you got to. You have to take them.
Well, but yeah, we think that, but the consumers, they don't get it. They don't understand that we have to live our lives as well. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah. Did you always feel like you would come back? You would always because you have like and I don't mean like all of a sudden bang like. I mean, I follow you on Instagram, of course, and it's like, it's like you've never stopped. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, after the 2 years, you know, I moved. So basically, I moved out of London for after that, and then I kind of moved back into London after 2 years, and then I kind of just started getting my spirit back. You know, I lost it for a while, if I'm being honest. Just the whole superstar thing, everything went out the window at that point, man, for me. And then, you know, I just started getting it back, my confidence back, you know, and then I met my lady around that time, my fiance now, and she kind of just, she put like, you need a good woman behind you, man, because she kind of boosted me back up to have that confidence to come back, to start releasing music again, to make music, you know. Before that, during that 2 years I was recording, but everything I was recording was so negative, like really sad songs, like.
What's it like when you listen back? To them?
Bro, like it actually just gets to me because I could tell I was in a dark place at that time, you know, and I couldn't tell at the point, but I was probably depressed, you know.
Yeah. I get embarrassed with some of the tunes that I wrote back then.
Yeah,
I'm like, put them away. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that, right?
yeah. Like, it's true. It's like, and even if you put them out and people like it, you're just like, why?
No, for real, you know. So, and at the same time, I I said, I write about what I'm going through. So that was at that time of my life, but we're in a different place now. So I just started building again from there. I signed to an independent label in around 2014. And And then we started putting out new releases, more releases, and then 2017 I put out Truth Be Told, my second album. We had Snoop Dogg on there, and it's done amazing. So yeah, bro.
What's your feelings on the state? Because like you say, like Wiley's been in touch. You know what I mean? Like there's still a resonance of like of an era that collectively is still joined, and what this is the thing as well. Maybe he's onto something that will be yet to be discovered. But there's always this space of like, it's like people are in defense and midfield, and then all of a sudden they come up to attack.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like you guys seem to just like, as long as you're in the game, like all of their Kano's in front, and then phases in front, and do you know what I mean?
And it just keeps going.
Yeah.
Well, I think you can tell with those artists you mentioned are artists that never give up, bro. You know, and never stop. There's certain artists that do music for a few years and then think, you know what, this isn't my life. But the people that you mentioned really live the music. You know, especially the scene that we're talking about, like. Wiley, I know for example, like he checks for new artists all the time. He lives and breathes grime music. You know what I mean? Phaser, he's a real music man. He's always producing, never stops. Even if he's going through something, he comes back, and you know what I mean. And I think you can always tell when them artists are the ones that kind of have the longevity because they never stop. Even Chipmunk, you know what I mean? So
it's almost like an itch. Like they're never.
Yes.
You know, you can never be satisfied.
That's what I definitely have. That yeah. It's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah. But when also you're given the keys to an opportunity at an early age as well, which I think you and me share a very similar thing. You know, my beatbox thing went fucking crazy. Like madness.
How old was you when you started, bro?
I was about 19. I went on my first world tour. At 19.
At 19.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Yeah.
Mad.
How do you feel like you know, having fame and being on such a big platform at that age how do you feel like that's took a toll on you as you've got older? Do you feel like, or if it hasn't even?
Probably the same as you. Like when it happened, you're thinking this will last forever. What?
Right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's such a level you think, well, my life's never going to be the same again. But it does. It does. Yeah. And that's not to be played down, because I think what's important is that as long as you've got like a strong head and you know that it's just a fucking ride, then you know you can gather your, you know, as long as there ain't no, because I reckon I got one. I think there is a small level of PTSD.
Yes, I think so.
With coming down from being so high.
From being so, 100%. I think so, yeah. It's like you want that again, but then you don't want it that much. Like I love that era of that time when I was superstar. I couldn't walk in the shopping malls or anything. But then at the same time, I think I don't really want that. As I'm a grown up now, I wouldn't really enjoy that. You know what I mean? It was cool for when I was 19, 20, but just to maintain my career, I think for me is the drive that I'll always have, just to always make sure I'm current and relevant, and but just like you said, making sure I know that it will never be that level ever again. You know?
Yeah. I think there's a shot to that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being? I'm trying to think of someone that is totally out there and can never walk. I mean, the only person I can think of is Ed Sheeran, like that could never walk down the road.
Yeah, he just looks. He'll get spotted anywhere. I think hat on, you'll spot him anyway.
Bless his heart. He would. He'd get totally. Like he would actually be passed as a looky-likey if he was the real thing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I saw that. Did you see that thing on YouTube where the guy dressed up as Ed Sheeran and got into like mad events and stuff?
Yeah,
he's
dude.
So famous, yeah.
Dude, like, and more power to Ed, man. I've always, you know, I remember seeing him come up again, another Channel U character.
He was early, yeah. A lot of people don't know he was there early.
He was there super early. Like and they'd be forgiven not to because you won't remember him too well. And then the SBTV thing slowly picked up as well, which is another platform.
Yeah, exactly. And my old A&R actually signed Ed Sheeran. He signed to the label that I first signed to as well, man. So it's been a
small
good
world,
journey.
man.
Yeah,
it's
man.
a small world. And yeah, well, you've got to appreciate the paddock in which you're like rolling. I mean, you and me bucking here, you know, we're not from the same worlds, but we know we operate in the same ways, and it's a small world, you know. So we are very lucky.
Yeah, no, we are, man. Yeah, every day I just think, you know, I've been blessed to been able to do what I do, and as long as I can keep it going, whether it's not even just, you know, releasing music, whether it's just something involved in the scene, you know, I love this UK hip hop or UK grime so much, bro. I'm so passionate about it. Whether it's, you know, becoming an A&R at the, you know, head A&R at a label, or you know, lead at one of the labels or something, you know, that'll be my dream to go to next, I think.
That's fire. That's fire. Who are you looking out for at the moment, music wise?
There's a lot. Do you mean like real up and coming artists, or the ones that are already out? Like, who am I listening to? Would you say?
Either or. It'd be interesting to see what, because, you know, some people have like different tastes that get filtered into their music and then regurgitated in a different way, you know?
So some of my favorite artists that are out at the moment, I would have to say, is like Dave. Dave is one of my favorite UK artists at the moment. You know, his lyrics are just mad on point, and his album is the way he shapes a body of work is just amazing to me for his age.
Yeah, fire.
You know what I mean? Like we've
100%.
been talking about the UK scene from the Soul Solid crew to now, to see how far you know we've took it and how we can actually put bodies of work together. It's amazing. So Dave, I'll say Jay Huss for me. He's so unique as a UK artist.
Yeah, Jay Huss is bad. Yeah, 1000%.
I've never heard anyone like him. You know. So I'll put him up there. And there's a couple other up and coming artists that I've been listening to. One called Millions. Some people should check him out if you ain't. Simba.
Oh, that rings bells. I think I've seen him on Instagram recently. Millions.
Yeah, he's doing quite good at the moment.
Yeah.
There's an artist called Simba. There's a few, man. I've finished my third album at the moment, and we got a few artists on there. So,
sick.
Yeah, a few new talent on there, man. So yeah, bro.
So I'll have to send some beatbox parts your way, brother.
Bro, I'd love to. We got to do that, you know. That'd be sick.
Game.
Yeah,
man. Game. So that's the future then. So the future is more records, more releases, and just staying in quarantine.
Staying in quarantine, staying safe. The shows are not going to be here for a while, so that's going to be out the window. But
might as well lock up your cupboard, innit? There's only the 3 pairs of tracksuit bottoms you got. That's all you're rocking.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. So, but yeah, the album's finished. So, put that out soon. And like I said, hopefully get a role or a job, you know, doing A&R work soon. Just helping behind the scenes a bit more, finding new talent, up and coming talent, and just go with whatever the next step is naturally, man. Like I said from the start, everything has been a natural next step in the music for me. So.
Dude, I'm so excited that you want to do that. That is, I mean, I'm like, that makes total sense. That's such a good idea.
That's my dream, man. That is my dream. Like to have a big office in one of them labels, not to be too corporate because I'm about the music, but just to have my own space and find the freshest new talent, you know, develop them, get an album going. Like that for me is the dream, man. Yeah.
Sounds to me like it's only a matter of time, brother.
Hopefully, bro. God willing, man. Hey, by the way, bro, that mixer, I love that picture with the mixer behind you. I swear, I think I think I got that mixer, you know.
Have you? Yeah, the new Mark.
Yeah, the new Mark one. Yeah.
That's the shit, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, I won that. Well, I won that. My crew in the DMC World Champions, they won it and they gave me that.
For real, that's sick. That's actually sick, man.
Yeah, that's man. I get a buzz when I got like a drill rapper sitting here, and then he's looking, behind him is like a Rocksteady crew t-shirt.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah. Come on.
Thank you so much for passing through, Ironik, man. You're a total gen, absolute don.
Come on, bro. You're a legend, man. I appreciate you having me as well. We have to chop it up some more, bro. Come on.
Dowser, yeah. I am ready. We got time on our hands and beats in the chamber. Let's do it.
Yeah. I'm gonna send you over some bits soon, man. Definitely, bro.
Fire over, man. I'll embellish. How's that? Ladies and gentlemen, the mighty DJ Ironik. Thank you so much, brother. This
Thank
KILLA
you,
KELA
bro.
podcast. Big shout out to everybody listening, watching, tuning in, staying out of trouble. All right. Take care of yourselves, people. Next week. Peace.